Well, I would say Promise Blue Chip is not stabled that far from Broadway Maya. Just raced Promise Blue Chip, put her on the front, got everything her own way, and she was very, very weak halfway down the lane. Luckily enough, Brooke booked a bet, picked him up, finished second. I thought she won for a second. She ended up second. Promise Blue Chip was beat a nose for third, but really an abysmal fourth. They're scoping her right now, but I can assure you she's probably full of mucus like Maya was. Anyway, that's part of racing. She was sound, seemed good, paced good, didn't get rough in the turns. So I guess in that regard, we made some gains, but obviously her overall game was not present here tonight. She got paid. I guess she finished fourth. We'll see how sick she is. Last thing you want to see when you scope these horses and they're a little sick, the last thing you want to see is a little bit of blood in there. I mean, it's not the end of the world, but it usually means another week to not just dry up the mucus, but also clean up that blood, because the blood isn't just in the throat, it comes from the lungs. That means that there is, she really stressed herself out tonight. So we'll see if there's any blood there. It's hard to say if there is or there isn't. Either way, she's a young horse, and there's nothing she can't get over, and probably nothing that 10 or 15% of the horses are going to go through here tonight. Just the weather, just the shitty weather hanging around, +1, -1, +3. It's +2 right now, and it's just a damp, miserable climate. So not the end of the world, but it is what it is. We're going to touch on some yearlings now. I'm not gonna have a top 15 this week, because I'm gonna go through all of them as we discussed last week. I ended up making 2 videos. We're gonna turn it into one video. 58 minutes was the goal last week. We're gonna try and trim that down a little bit. Antigua Dio, Brett went with her today, said she was very good, did everything right. I saw him make a couple of moves with her. She's really got a nice gait, that filly. Not gonna wear any boots or anything. Really paces clean. She's really starting to understand her work and do it well. I don't know when she's gonna leave. I hope that she stays till June, if that's what Eric wants to do. The guy who bought all the shares of her, she's now solely owned by one gentleman. Let It Ride Stables owns all of her. So, geez, I hope she stays till June, and then she'll be off to Ross Krogan. I'm a little embarrassed. I don't know where he trains out of. New Jersey or Pennsylvania, maybe New York. I'm not sure, but she'll be off to Mr. Krogan's farm. Her and just a tad. Let It Ride's the vast majority owner, and him at 72 or 73%. So Antigua Dio trained well today. Very happy with her. Arvika, she likes to be on the hunt, and when she clears to the front, she wants to polish them off. She doesn't want, once she clears to the front, she doesn't want to let a bunch of horses go and sit. And today we went at the mile marker. I brushed her to the front with a huge rush of speed. She looked fantastic. And then I just let her idle through the turn, and I was really going to leave her on the front the rest of the way. And King of the Ball come with a ferocious kick and blew right by her, and which was fine. I wasn't going to take him. We're just training. But blew right by her. And when he did, she kind of lost her focus. You know, she was unsure of herself. And then in the last turn, if you watch the video, it was a little dusty. A little dusty at the training center today, and a big gust of wind come up and blew up a bunch of dust. And I noticed a few horses had run in the same area today, and I'm not so sure. I don't like making excuses, but she definitely wasn't focused when she made her break, and she was definitely seemed to be looking around and unsure of herself and her surroundings, and she just rolled off. But the move she made at the mile marker was really, really impressive, and I was really, really happy. I'm always happy with what I see with Arvika. She might make the odd mistake, but she's never unimpressive, and she definitely was impressive today. Autumn Wings, man, oh man, oh man. I took the hood and the earplugs off her ears, out of her ears today, and oh my God, she was psychotic. She was hot as a firecracker today, and even worse than that, it was windy, and the bridle blinds were a little loose, and you could see they were moving around, and she could literally see behind, and you know, the horses can see behind them, and she's looking at me, and every time it would open up and she'd peer back, she'd gone again. And I thought she'd settle when I moved over to the front, and she just wouldn't let go of me the whole way. I mean, speed's never a problem with her. She's now to a point where it's fairly obvious that she's a talented, fast filly. She needs to get under control, and I think next week we'll plug her ears up and put that tie down on a little tighter on her, and maybe put something a little more strict in her mouth, maybe a snake cord or a mini bit, and really get her, because I need to be in a position. If you look at Not an Angel, the way she's progressed for the first 5, 6, 7, 8 training sessions, she would be a runaway. You really had to keep her at the back and keep her hidden and quiet. Now you can let her float along, drop her in the 2-hole, sit, attack. She's now doing what we need her to do. That's where Autumn Wings has to get to, and she will. I mean, Jesus, we got 4 or 5 months to get her right. This usually the speed, transition, and quickness are what you're trying to progress with. She's already there. You just need to get her under control and comfortable in a group. So that's what we're going to be working on the next month with Autumn Wings, and certainly over the next couple of weeks, we'll be getting her under control in that regard, I believe. Bay Jewel. Bay Jewel is probably one of the most underrated, underappreciated horses in our barn. This is an incredibly talented filly that is very, very good at her work and loves to work. If you watch her mile, she interferes a little bit, but as you see her, she's huge. She got a big ass end on her, and as she starts to grow out and mature, you're going to see her really, really come together. We locked forks right at the wire. If you look, our jog carts came together right at the wire, and it was just a little fork bumping, and it kind of pushed the jog cart ahead. She just kind of lost herself and rolled off, but when she came back trotting, she was all business again. She really, really is having a lot of fun out there and loves her work. Very impressed with what I've seen in Bay Jewel, especially today. Be My Delight. Be My Delight, Danny said she was on the right line a little bit. But, again, Be My Delight is not a 3-move filly. And I know Danny moved to the front and then just kind of sat with her. She's coming to a hurdle now where she really has to learn to accelerate, decelerate, and re-accelerate again. And we do that because in the races, we need these horses to be handy. We just can't assume that these are going to be the best horses and they're going to overpower their competition. They need to be handy, and we're trying to teach them to be comfortable in a race setting, so to speak. So Be My Delight is fast, nice little filly. She's going to have to work on her durability, if you will, over the next little while. There doesn't seem to be any problems there. She doesn't wear a boot. She's flawless, beautiful gait. So we'll be working on that over the... It's just a matter of putting on muscle that she can use, and you can't put it on too quickly. So it's a matter of her gaining weight. Fat turns to, you work her. Fat's going to turn to muscle. She's small enough where she can carry a little excess weight. So we're going to up her feet a little bit, just a little bit, see if we can put a little more fat on her through her training, and we can obviously turn that fat into muscle at some point, break it down, and really use it as fuel to build this filly up so she's a little powerhouse when she gets to the races. But look good again today, doing her work well. She'll progress as we get along quite fine, I'm sure. Better Call Mike. He'll start back Monday. He'll be gelded on Wednesday. Better Call Mike. We gave him 3 weeks off. His knees were bothering him. They look fine now. We're going to change his footwear to a set of flip-flops that should really help him. And keep an eye on Mike. We're going to geld him. He's really turned into a big colt. We're going to geld him, and really, I think what you're going to see this colt spring forward. I believe we did exactly what he needed, and I think it'll pay dividends down the road. So keep your eyes on Better Call Mike, not just the next drone session, but the ones coming. If we geld him Wednesday, 10 days, he should be in the next following drone session. So I'll be interested to see how Mike looks on Monday, and then obviously throughout the next week and into the next drone session. Boldness, another colt, struggling a little bit. Not lame, no issues. We are going to castrate him. We are going to geld him also. I thought he was going to be gelded today, but it's going to have to be pushed till Tuesday or Wednesday. He jogged. Seems good, but interferes a little bit again. A colt that needs to grow up and learn to mature and widen out. And, our goal for Boldness has always been and will always be to have him ready at the end of the summer, first of the fall. And I think he's well on track to do that. He's been in 239. He just needs to do it better. I don't see any reason why he can't. As he matures, I think you'll see this horse progress, and I'm not concerned with what I've seen with Boldness so far. Buckingham, always in the hunt. She's getting a little played out wrestling with Maintenance Man and those colts, so I might put her in a different division next week just to give her some confidence, if you will. She's been going hard for the past 5 weeks and needs to throttle it back for a couple weeks and get her in check. Another filly needs a few pounds to put on some muscle, but she's a powerhouse and she's strong. I like what I saw again today. I don't want her stressed out too much, so we're going to probably put her down a class next time and then build her back up and let her work her way back into the Maintenance Man crew, if you will. A lot of you have been emailing me saying, how do you classify the horses? I mean, it's pretty obvious. We try to, 1 through 57, we try to build the groups that are, I'm trying to go with my today we had 9 sets. So I try to go with 9 that I think I need to go with, and we build the sets around those 9. But I like to have the horses in with similar competition. And a lot of people said, why would you have our Vic in with the Pacers today? Because she needs to be. We went through this last year with Cruising in Style, where we had horses that were simply better than the horses they were in with, and they were he was overpowering the horses he was in with. And when it got to the races, and lo and behold, we found out he wasn't the best horse in the universe, and there was other horses that could go with him. I don't think he liked it that much. And I think there needs to be a certain amount of humility and humbling involved with these horses, and these lessons they learn along the way are tiny little things, much like you and I would pick up in the real world. And you learn not to be so loud in a bar, and just as you learn that you're not the fastest horse on the track. So I have no qualms with putting our Vic in with Maintenance Man and those horses, because she can go with them. And just as I have, but we don't want to stress them every week. So a horse like Buckingham is going to come down a little bit next week, which is exactly what she needs. Captain Miraculous quietly looked good again today. Harry was very impressed with him. This is a colt, again, we're aiming for the end of the summer. The issues he had with his feet, he seems to be overcoming very well. Due to be shod, I see his heels a little high. I think there's a fine line. I think he's a horse. I think he's a horse that needs to have a little more heel than the other horses, but not too much. So there's a thin line there. We like to have our yearlings and our racehorses too around 50, 51 degrees. Trotters around 49, 50, and that's the degree of the angle of their foot up front. If there's too much heel, there's too much pressure on their coffin bone, and if there's not enough, there's pressure on their ligaments further up in their legs. So you really have to be attentive when it comes to the shoeing of your yearlings. You want to make sure they're shod squarely, straight, flat, and with a proper degree. And I think Captain Miraculous, he looked a little high to me today, so we're going to maybe bring him down just a couple of degrees, maybe not even, maybe just 1. But I'm very, very happy with what I've seen with him. Cash In on Me. Keeps getting better. Yeah, he's made a few little breaks, but keep an eye on his ears when he's on the track. This is a colt that enjoys his work. He's learning how to do it. And he's probably the lankiest horse we have in the barn. By that I mean, he looks like a 14-year-old tall kid playing basketball. Just needs to grow into himself. But the attitude is there, the mindset is there. And when you can see his ears are up, and he's trying, even when he makes a mistake, you can see him struggle to fix what he's done and come forward after that. And I really like to see that. And I like what I see in Cash In on Me. He's not going to be ready June 15th, but he'll be ready this summer. Very happy with him also. Curious Winner. He's going to find his way onto my list, I think. I watched him train Wednesday. I thought he trained good. This colt, he's really tested me. He's got a really ignorant attitude sometimes. We joke about him kicking the shit out of the jog carts, but he really gets over on the guys that go with him. You give him an inch and he takes a mile. You try and baby him through the turns and he rolls off on you. This guy's going to do some work this week. I'm going to be going with him all week, and I might be going with him in the next drone session too, but he needs his attitude put in check this week, and nothing like a good hard week of work to do that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with him. He's sound, and he's gonna be doing some heavy lifting this week. So I would say you're going to see quite an improvement on Curious Winner by the time the next drone session is filmed. Cruising with Angus, better and better and better and better. There's a horse, if you watch close, he's on the right line. I've mentioned it time and time again. On that right line, on that right line, on that right line. Danny came in, he goes, little bugger, he's on the left line coming out of the last turn, which obviously means he's getting sounder. So come Monday, we're going to go in and take a very close audit, if you will, of Cruising and Angus, see where the angles of his feet are, see how he's standing, if his feet are cold or not. We want to take stock of what exactly took place today. We're going to give him the weekend to cool out, take a look at him Monday, and see exactly what went on for this dramatic improvement. If it's just maturity and his joints getting sounder, perfect, fantastic. But I do want to keep a close eye on his feet to see where they look. He does got little shelly, dishy feet when the blacksmith shoes him. His feet don't have what's a word I'm looking for? They're not smooth. They chip away easily, and his right front foot especially, which I would assume plays the biggest role in that right line. His right front especially is a little clubby, a little shelly. So how he looks on Monday is really, really gonna tell the tale. I was extremely happy with what I saw today, and when you see horses start to accelerate and understand their work, and actually start to train easier and less stressful and train better, it's always an impressive thing. And this colt, one of the biggest movers of the week for sure for me. He wasn't in one of the toughest divisions, but the way he did his work, very, very impressive today. Casanova's Jewel got ahead of me again, the bugger. I trained him on Wednesday, and he trained fantastic. And I looked, he was number 10 on the list. I had 9 sets, 9 horses I wanted to go with. I just couldn't move somebody around for Casanova's Jewel. And if he hadn't trained well on Wednesday, absolutely I would have, but he did. So I let Todd go with him, and he just got in a little bit in that turn, and he made a little break. And it's tough, when you're going with the horses. When they come to the turn and you feel them soften up, the first thing you want to do is coddle them through that turn. Well, we have the hobbles on him right now, and he knows better. I pushed him real hard on Wednesday, and he trained great. And I think as soon as Todd let him throttle back into neutral in that second turn, he boxed his gait up a little bit. So you can only imagine what happens when a horse shortens their gait up and is unsure of themselves in the turns. They're much more prone to running in and interfering and hitting themselves. You need them to stretch out so they trot fluidly through there, but they have to understand that from time to time they're going to touch themselves once in a while. They're going to touch that left hind shin or that left hind ankle, that right hind ankle. They're going to touch that once in a while. That's why we wear boots on them, and they need to get over that, and they need to push through. And you see the horses that are powerful training. That doesn't mean they don't interfere. They just get it. They understand it, and they push through. And as they learn to accelerate through those turns, what you do is you see them start to miss themselves. They don't interfere anymore. But when they start to have that self-conscious feeling in the turns and they start to soften up, box their gait up, that's when they start to interfere and make breaks. So that's what you saw with Casanova's Jewel today. You will not see that next time he goes under the drone. Dance Hall Babe. Girl looked great. First time she even went the right way of the track since her operation. And James says, geez, when she's going slow, she's a little choppy. She picks away at herself. But when you speed up, she speeds up. She really misses. She looks beautiful. She is a really, really nice filly. I've said it a couple of weeks ago. I'll say it again. So far right now in March, one of my top picks for Ontario, but maybe for the whole stable in 2018, is Dance Hall Babe. We've kept her staked up to a lot of things. I have really high hopes for this filly, and I really, really like what I saw today, and really, really like what I see day in and day out from this filly. So very, very happy with her today. Dancing on My Own. So Dancing on My Own is the longest horse we have in the barn. She's got a big, long hobble, and she doesn't struggle in the turns, but she gears down in the turns, and she's lazy, so it's hard to start her back up and spark her back up. So I think I'm going to beat her at her own game. I'm going to take her over to Mohawk on Thursday morning and train her there. I think if we get a couple of stronger training sessions into her, get a little beef on her also. She's a little bit light because she's growing into that big frame. I think she'll come forward. The good news is Pennsylvania doesn't have any half-mile tracks to race on in the stake races, so between Mohawk and Bacon or Campbellville, Tamiko is a 5/8, and that's all they have in Pennsylvania. So really happy with what I saw today. I'm certain I'll be very happy with what I see Thursday. No need to go very fast with her. I'd like to see a mile, maybe 25 or 30 Thursday morning at Mohawk, and we'll see what we're working with then. She's just a little self-conscious in the turns, and you know what? 7 minutes away is a fix for that. So that's where we're going. And she doesn't need to go there all the time, but I would feel more comfortable at least trying her a few times over there. Let her stretch into her hobbles and build some self-confidence. And then as we train her over at the other farm, I think she'll appreciate that more. Next, Delcrest Star Angel. First start going the right way of the track. Made a couple of breaks, but what I see day in and day out is a filly that's very raw. Had missed a lot of time, a lot of work. She's doing her best to do her work. And I think over the next month, you're going to see her really start to put it all together. Her attitude is there. She gets it now. She knows what she's supposed to do. Now she's just trying to do it. And she'll get there. I wasn't in the least bit concerned with what I saw today, or making a few breaks. The fact she's on the track, doing her work, after being operated on, understanding what her work is already is important to me, and it's important to her. So you're going to see you won't see much improvement over the next 2 weeks. Give her 3 or 4. We'll see how she looks. I'm really impressed with her. Not really impressed. There's nothing impressive about her today, other than the fact that her attitude is perfectly in check. Again, another horse that we have geared for the end of the season. We paid her into the Ontario Sire Stakes and one big stake at the end of the year. So my focus will be getting Delcrest Star Angel to the track somewhere around the end of July, mid part of August maybe. That's my goal with her. Final answer, didn't see him today. We castrated him. I'm off the track. Here's a horse that's acting up, making breaks, and he's still a stud. I thought he was a gelding. You know, I went and I looked at this colt and I said, is he still a stud? And the groom said, yeah. He trained well on Wednesday. I trained him 232, 229, I'm not sure, but he trained well. I remember coming off the track. I was very, very happy with him. Big dirty splint left front that bites at him. I think he thinks it hurts him a lot more than it does, but he definitely acts like it bothers him a little bit from time to time. And you know, we just cut him. Mostly because you look at horses, and I keep going back to friggin' Biggin, and I'll continue to go back to friggin' Biggin. There was a horse that was a stud, had a bad attitude, didn't want to do his work. We cut him. He's the happiest horse in the barn now, and he was all business day. We'll touch on him in a minute. But final answer was gelded midweek. He'll be back for the next drone video. I was very happy with what I saw on Wednesday. I had mentioned to somebody that was dumping their shares of him, it's your money, do what you want, just be careful. I was very happy with what I saw on Wednesday, and I think everybody will be happy with what they see the next drone session from friggin' Biggin. Or from Final Answer. Friggin' Biggin. Biggest mover of the week, easy. Biggest mover of the week. I went with this horse last Saturday, I was happy. Went with him on Wednesday, was happy. And was very happy with him today. Here's a horse that does interfere, does touch himself behind in the turns. He's trying his hardest. He uses the hobbles now. He looks, when you get to the turns, you can see him, if you watch your video closely, you can see him square himself up. He gets a little bumpy in the turns. That's him getting close to touching himself or touching himself. He didn't draw blood or bruise himself today, but did touch himself and get out of gear, but pushed right through the turns into the straightaways and powered down the straights. And that's what I want to see from the horses. I want to see forward progress, but I love a horse that understands what he's doing and uses the equipment we put on him. Made some changes with headgear and put the hobbles on him a few weeks ago, and man, oh man, what a difference. Just really, really impressive mile today. You know, he's not the best horse in our barn, but he jumped a number of positions in my mind today. Very, very happy. Definitely would have made the top 15 for me. So friggin' Biggin, biggest mover of the week, at least on the trot. Who we at next? Heart 8. Heart 8 looked great. Looked great. Finished up well. Another big, big filly. Unlike Dancing on Mountain, she's learning to transition on this smaller track. She might find herself going a trip or two over at Mohawk also, just to see how she feels. But she went from a lazy, big, you know, slob somewhat in the first part of her training. Now she's pushed through to be a really nice filly, attentive, understands herself. Just needs to learn to sprint harder on the end of it. She was sprinting good today. We were really going on the end of it. But big filly, big frame, long hobble. She'll get there. No concerns from me. Long year ahead of her, in front of her in Ontario, and very, very happy with what I saw today from Heart 8 for sure. Holding Steady. I still get people email and say, oh, what happened to Holding Steady today? I don't know. What happened to Holding Steady? Come off the track. Danny said he was fantastic. Tell you what's going to happen to Holding Steady. We're going to geld him midweek next week. Big, cold, heavy frame. He's starting to get heavier, so we're going to cut him this week also. But Danny said he wasn't on a line. He wasn't running in. He wasn't out of gear. I just told him, let him do his own work and let him finish up good. And by all accounts from Danny, I thought the horse went well. He thought the horse went well. So, you know, for the people emailing saying, what happened to Holding Steady? I don't know what you mean. So, it's March. It's March. Relax. The horses are learning to go. This is a big colt with a long gait, and it's March. So, long, long way to the races yet. Let them, I keep telling everybody, this is a process. This is a process, and you guys get to look behind the curtain. You get to see all the gears in action. Take your time. Take it all in. Soak it all up. You know, we'll revisit this if you'd like to in June, but it's March. Colt's fine. He's doing his work. He's progressing. He's coming off that line. He's moving when we ask him to. It's all we need him to do right now. So I'm happy by all accounts from Holding Steady today. Ivanka. Woo! There's a filly that trained fantastic on Wednesday again, and nothing pisses me off more than a horse that trains fantastic when there's no cameras around and then looks like a kangaroo when the drone comes out. No reason for it. Sound, not on the line anymore. Now, the only thing I will say is that she's getting to be really, really tall behind, so her stifles are still wide open. Those big, big joints behind are wide open. Probably a little loose. Maybe that training trip rattled a few bolts loose on her on Wednesday, and she was a little uncomfortable today. Uncomfortable or not, I expect your work to be done. Do it good, do it poor, just do it. And for me, I was pissed off today when I saw her make that break, and I guess I'm going to go with her for the remainder of the next 2 weeks, and I'll go with her on droning session, make sure she's dialed in and ready to go. But, it happens. Yeah, I got to tell myself sometimes it's March. I got to take my own advice sometimes. Trotters will break. It's not a news flash. It's not CNN worthy. They're going to make breaks. They're going to make mistakes. Ivanka, there is nothing wrong with her. She's sound. I can tell you she looked fantastic on Wednesday. You're going to have to take my word for it. Next drone session, you're not going to have to. You're going to see it for yourself. Just a Tad. Why does Just a Tad make a break? Just a Tad is probably one of the best gated trotters we have. It's 2 weeks in a row now he made a break. I'm not going to continue to harp and say, oh, they look great on Wednesday. He did, So why he looked bad today? It was dusty. And that's such a stupid excuse. It's such a stupid excuse. It's dusty. Well, that big cloud blows up in front of them. They have to be focused, and it's easy to lose your focus. And, Harry thought he lost his focus and threw his head from the dust and made a little break. That martingale that's on his head to his chest, I would say it was about 4 inches too long, and we'll address that this week. Again, I don't like, lots of horses didn't make breaks from the dust, and if it was the dust, I'm sure it's going to be dusty at some point in his life again. So it's something we're going to have to work on with Just a Tad, but Just a Tad's one of our mainstays. So not concerned with Just a Tad at all. A little upset with the break today, but not angry. A little disappointed, but again, it's March. So you're going to hear that a lot today. Candy Mac, look great. It's Big Candy. Candy's our Rudy. By an obscure Michigan sire who's now standing in Ohio. I own a big chunk of this colt, and I love him. He's just so nice to watch work. He just goes out there, looks good, does his work, goes in a stall and eats his hay, and doesn't bother anybody. Never bothers anybody. Candy, I love Candy Mac. So Candy Mac was good again today. Very happy with what I saw from him. King of the Ball. Hello, King of the Ball. Wow. Biggest mover on the pace for sure. Wowzers. I made front with, as I said, with Ervika. And I had every intention of maybe sitting up and letting her trot the last half good. I knew Maintenance Man was somewhere to my right coming. This thing come out of the backfield like a tight end. Just comes screaming out of the backfield. I could hear him coming, and by the time I heard him coming, he was gone. James said he has an incredible burst of speed. He just moved him over. He said, I just moved him over. I just brushed the whip over his tail. He said it was just like somebody took the accelerator and kind of just jammed it to the floor. This colt's fast. He is fast. And he said it was all I could do to keep him contained. And Danny drove up alongside us, and he said Danny horse jumped over a pile. We'll go over that in a minute. Man, oh man, King of the Ball. This thing is a beast. What a little bulldog he is. I couldn't believe, I know he's fast, but to see him come out of the backfield like that and hear him coming, and it was like the speed of sound. I heard him and he was already gone. It was an impressive burst of speed, to say the least. I was very thrilled with what I saw. Unhappy because I don't own any of them, but thrilled with what I saw today for sure. Christine K. Did her work well. You always have to remember, Christine K is about a month behind everybody else. A full month behind everybody else. Christine K landed on Drone Day 2017, open house day. So quite a ways behind everybody else. And she's starting to do it well, starting to understand her work. I've slowly become not a fan of Rock and Roll Heaven as a stud. Beautiful racehorse. Beautiful little horse. I saw him win the Little Brown Jug the year I was in Delaware for the Jug. But man, oh man, I don't like the horses he throws. I don't like the 3-year-olds. Promise Blue Chip. Fast filly, nice filly. Probably going to make a good racehorse. Not durable. I don't know how sick she was. For sure she was sick tonight, but, curb bothering her 3 weeks ago. She's paralyzed on a line, curled around on the bike. You got horses out there with real issues that are powering through them, and like Pay the Line Blue Chip. she's not near between 95 and 100%. She's just on the run, and which is frustrating as hell, but it's just the way it is. So I don't see any of that in Christine case so far, and I hope not to. Does her work well, beautiful gait, fantastically well bred, but no buts. Did her work well today. I was happy with what I saw, and by all accounts, Ricky went with her, and he was happy also. Linnea, this filly, she looked awesome. I didn't realize how good she looked until I saw the replay at home. I went home and put the replay on TV, and man, oh man, that filly is she's really coming around. Built for the Battle of the Bells stake in July, paid into the Battle of the Bells, looks fantastic, gets over the ground quick. Reminds me a little bit of a female King of the Ball. You know, fluid gait though, he's made some breaks. She has not, and she's shown she's durable. You know, she was on that left line for a month, straight as an arrow now, and very, very. Just watch the video of her. Go back and watch the video and watch her composure on the track, how quick she wants to accelerate, how she wants to fight, and Gislin that was going with her. It was his last day today, and he loves going with that filly, and he went with her, and you can tell she was loaded and pacing hard. Just a beautiful, beautiful filly on the track. Top marks to her, been top marks for a while. I think you're going to see her really not come out of the woodwork, she's out of the woodwork. I think you're going to see her start attacking on a more regular basis. Maintenance Man, get defeated. Made a little break, jumped over a pile of shit on the track. You know, these horses get looking at stuff, and people say, oh, put a shadow roll on him. No, I'm not going to put a shadow roll on him. There's going to be stuff on the track, every track he goes to. There's going to be dirt, there's going to be shadows, there's going to be shit. Horses do that sometimes. And, you know, I heard Danny and James talking after. He said King of the Ball put a step in and skipped over something, and Maintenance Man leaped right over it. And there was somebody there to pick them both up at the wire, though. We'll talk about him in a minute. But Maintenance Man, again, what can you say? The horse looked great. He's just a fantastic athlete. Just a really beautiful horse, and a bit of an Adonis. Definitely the best-looking horse in the property. In the stall, like you could put him beside any good-looking horse and not tell the difference. He looks like an equine athlete for certain. And top marks every week. Made a little skip today. Easy enough to work on that. Majesty Boy, week in and week out, quietly becomes a really, really nice trotter. I'd messaged a gentleman today, and it was too late. He'd sold his shares. I said, sold his shares for $299. I said, that was a big mistake. I said, hey, would you mind if I gave you $299? Would you give me $500 back? Because that's probably what that horse is worth right now. It looks great. Every week this colt looks great, and today was no exception. I like the way, I don't get to go with him. I get to watch him just like you do. I get reports on him, and they say he's doing his work really well. So, Majesty Boy looked great again today. Maxwell Plum went out today and just kind of goofed off and looked around. Did his work, finished up well. But when you really spark him up and put him through his gears, he really, really looks like a nice colt. He reminds me of the horse we have, Mystical Mission. Same sire, kind of choppy way of going, but attentive, understanding. He gets it. He always has got it. And I like going with him. I've only gone with him once in the last few months, and it ended up being a pretty quick mile. I'll let the cat out of the bag. I trained him in 2:19. On Wednesday, which was pretty fast for this time of year, a little more than when he needed to go, but he was working well, and I let him work. So I was happy with what I saw that day, and very impressed with Maxwell Plum. He just did his work today, which is great. Let the horse, a horse that trains down in a stress-free manner will last longer throughout the year anyway. So for me, I'm very happy with what I saw with Maxwell today. Mo Better trained very, very well. Looked good. Brett said he was powerful, strong. Did everything I knew he would today. I trained in the middle of the week, and he looked really, really good. A little small. Is he going to be durable enough for a long staking summer? I don't know. Very, very happy with what I just saw. I'm just reading the top of my screen. I just got a text from the veterinarian. Promise blue chip, full of mucus, 4 out of 5, very yellow, and all the way from the top of her windpipe all the way down to her lungs. So nothing shocking or newsworthy. It's exactly what I knew it would say. But nevertheless, confirmation is closure, and that's that. So Mo Better, very, very happy with him today. One of these horses, I think he'll just sneak along, and I think one of these days he'll when we come out to qualify him or something in June, everybody say, where'd that horse come from? He just quick on his feet, smart, and just stays in the background all the time. Today he looked really, really well. I was happy with what I saw. Brett was happy with him. Top marks across for Mo Better. Mr. Caper. Now, here's the big thing. The Guccios. The reports on the Guccios last year was they'll swing to the pace. They'll pace sometimes. Mr. Caper paced a couple of days when we broke him, but he's been all business since then. He swung to the pace today at the quarter pole. Then come back trotting and look fantastic after that. I would say probably just wasn't thought out enough and got a little goofy and swung to the pace. We got a lot of weight on him up front, and I was just thinking to myself, I said, geez, a lot of weight for that little horse. Maybe I'll take some of that weight off. That's a negative. That will not be happening anytime soon. So Mr. Caper trained awesome afterwards, but did swing to the pace at the quarter pole. Didn't interfere with himself, didn't hit himself. I think just got a little lost. Maybe the dust, that's what we're going to use for today. The dust was bothering him a little bit, and he got a little pacey and run, and then was all business after that. So I've gone with this horse in the last 2 weeks. This thing's he's a little race car, so absolutely no concerns from me, from Mr. Caper today. We'll chalk it up to dust bunnies and leave it as such. Not an Angel. Fantastic today. Not an Angel is a graduate of exactly what we've been doing. She is top marks across the board. She has absorbed everything we've shown her, everything we've taught her, and everything we've asked her to do. If you look at her videos going back, you'll see how hot she was at the start. She'd make a few little breaks on people. I was very careful to keep her away from the group and, kind of tender and baby her around. And once I put her in gear, I left her in gear. I didn't ask her to transition or gear down or gear up quick. Just let her do her work because she's big. She's not big. She's growing, but she's a powerful filly. And last week, she was quiet. Put her in behind, let her relax, let her float along. She trained awesome. And I said to James today, I was listening to hear that roar that I heard from her about a month ago. Nowhere to be found. Quiet. Did her work really well. This is my camera. I don't know if you can see that, but it keeps zooming in and out. I don't know, maybe I got a big head. I don't know. But Not an Angel sat quietly today. James just moved her over and she bolted by, and I was so happy to see her. I guess she didn't get by. I watched the replay again. I guess she was second, but as far as she knows, she won, I think. But looked great trotting. I was very impressed with her today. So just really pleased with what I've seen with this filly. It always feels good to know that these horses, some of them at least, are picking up on what you're teaching them, and the intelligence of these horses is truly shocking sometimes. This filly has, as I said, absorbed everything we've shown her and asked her to do, and looked fantastic today. So Not an Angel was great. Oh So Pine looked great again today. Brett said he was on the right line a little bit. Put a little Murphy blind on him. Well, tracks have been a little hard the last month. When the snow got off them, you're left with that base that's hard. Probably need a little rock dust on the track. You see all that dust. Needs some screening on the track over the next few weeks. But the track's a little hard. We have 3 or 4 horses pop quarter cracks. I would say that would have a lot to do with it. So we can fix that. Pine get on the right line. Probably work on his feet the next week, tubbing him and poulticing his feet up. And we'll put a Murphy blind on the inside and see if that doesn't help also. These are all things they go through as they train down. So what they do with that, when you're on the right line but you're still attacking the leaders, that's what I want to see. I want to see horses overcoming adversity. And Oh So Pine, he's a warrior. He's going to be a nice horse this year, I think. Quartz Blue Chip. This filly's knees have been very sore the last 2 weeks, bothering her a bit. I put a set of bar shoes on her up front. Feet and knees usually run hand in hand. You got sore feet, you got sore knees, you got sore knees, you got sore feet. So we're blistering her knees, tubbing her feet. We put some bar shoes on her feet. Little unhappy with her attack mode, if you will. I'd like to see a little bit of the eye of the tiger, and instead I see a little softness in this filly. So she, if her knees are bothering her still in another few weeks, she might need some time off, which I'm not that worried about. This is an impeccably bred filly. And we're going to give her every opportunity to be the horse she was bred to be. I know that somewhere Ron Burke or Tom Grossman are saying, well, her last 2 out of that mare were colts, and they were a little soft. I don't care. I'm going to give her every opportunity to be a good horse, because that family is strong. I know there's one colt in there, Big Boy Dreams, that was an incredibly talented animal, and that's her half brother. Her mother made $600,000 and winning 49. It's in there. I'm going to give her every opportunity to be a good horse, and if that means we turn her out for a little bit, then so be it. Ready for the beach. Now a gelding. Ready for the beach. He won't need anything more than a Speedo when he goes to the beach. He went under the knife on Wednesday. I told you, he bit me. You can bite a couple of grooms if you want. Don't bite me. And he was being a bad little bugger, and the grooms had asked, hey, can you geld this horse? He's acting up in the stall. He's squealing, and then he bit me, and that was it. So now a gelding. You'll see him in the next drone session. Time off for a few days to heal up his area. Will do him a lot of good. So ready for the beach now. A gelding on the beach. Rock on the roll. Wow, he looked good today, eh? Harry's a little worried about this horse because he sees everything on the track. He'll jump over things on the track, and I'm not going to put a shadow roll on him yet. I'm going to tell Harry to wear a little dress when he trains him if he wants to be a little girl. He had him covered up, and then he let him pace down lane. Geez, he's really turning into an impressive looking pacer. As he puts that muscle on, he really starts to look sharp this colt. I was happy. I watched the video again. I was up front a little bit, and I watched the video, and he really finished up well, that colt. Really, really happy with what I've seen with him. He likely will need a shadow roll to race, but for now, we're going to go without and see how he becomes. He just has to learn that there is stuff on the track, and don't worry, you can pace over it. If you can't, I'm sitting behind you. So he just needs, it's all about maturity, mental maturity. Everybody says, oh no, they never get over that. That's bullshit. We had a horse last year, Art Seeker, and he jumped over everything on the track for an entire, and if you watch the baby qualifiers at Mohawk, there's a giant shadow, and I mean giant shadow in the first turn, probably 3 feet wide, and stretches right across the track during the qualifiers. And a lot of horses jump over it. Art Seeker almost committed suicide over it the first time we went over it. And I took him over for 2 weeks, and I walked him over it, and let him look at it, and jogged him over it. He raced with no shadow roll all year. So if I have to do that with Rock on the roll and he learns, then great. If he has to wear shadow roll, whatever, we'll put it on him. RV LeBron had the day off. One of the horses with a little bit of a temperature. Hit his knee the other day, too. His knee was a little warm. It's not a big deal. But him and Boldness had a little temperature also, and See You in Tuscany had a little temperature also. Those 3 horses had temperatures today, so they got the day off. RV LeBron could use the time. Actually starting to look like a horse. I'll go easy on him. He's starting to look like a better horse now. He's been in 235, but he did hit his knee last week. We are working on that. Not a big deal. Boldness at a temperature. He just jogged today, and See You in Tuscany, a temperature 103.1. We gave him Banamine, which is an anti-inflammatory, a little Tylenol, if you will, when we got to the barn today, and by the time we left, his temperature was down to 100.2. Normal temperature for a horse around 99.5. 100.2 is not a big deal. I asked the guys when they went back to the barn tonight to feed to check his temperature again. No reports yet, so I'm going to assume that it's back to normal. Where are we at? See You in Tuscany, temperature, Screaming Hawk, flat today. Just kind of present, didn't make a break, but didn't look that great. I'm going to go with him the next week and see where we're at with this colt. This colt is a big, strong, powerful colt that looked like a Zamboni today. He didn't look like a Maserati. So I'm going to go with him, spark him up a little bit next week and see if we can find some Angus Hall in there and get him trotting a little quicker. I don't know what the hell's going on with him. Danny's been happy with him. I just watched the video. I didn't ask Ricky about him, but it is what it is. He looked like shit. So I'm going to go with that colt this week and find out what it is. Maybe he was a little under the weather or something. I'm not sure. But he did not look like the big, powerful colt that was out of his mind crazy before we gelded him. He looked like a little kitty cat today, and I don't want to see that. I want to see somewhere in between, a horse that's aggressive, knowledgeable, and ready to do their work and attentive. I did not see any of those from Screaming Hawk today, but I suspect I will over the next 10 days. Stolen Dance lost a shoe, looked like shit. She made a break today. She's been in 33, and she's going to have bad days. I think that's inevitable. Another horse that we have aimed for the end of the year. I think she's going to have her good days and her bad days. This was not a good day for her footwear or for her trotting, and we are going to have to work on that. So we'll work with her over the next week to get her under control. Seems she's a little tight over her back, losing that shoe with the track a little firm. She doesn't need a whole lot of excuses. You know, she's not put together well, but she tries hard. And if she's out there making breaks, it's because she's hurting. So we're going to keep a close eye on her this week. I noticed that she kicked the wall last week and she had a scrape on her hock that blew up a little bit. I'm going to take another real close look at that this week and make sure that nothing's going on there. But, you know, she's been in 233, very, very happy. You couldn't ask a horse to work harder than this filly. She's a super overachiever, and I really, really like what I see in her. I love this filly a lot. Bred well, hoping and praying that she turns out to be a nice filly, because I own pieces of her, but I really, really like the filly in general. And, you know, further down the road, if we end up with some sort of a group of broodmares, I know it's inevitable. We have a lot of clients. A lot of them are asking, what's next? Do you have anything on the table for further down the line? Yes, we have potentially maybe breed some mares. A horse this well bred is obviously a horse that we'd be interested in breeding. She's not put together great, but lots of mares aren't that throw really, really nice foals. So this is a horse that I'm really, really keep my eye on for a number of reasons: racing, accolades, and potentially a broodmare too. So Stolen Dance, shitty day today, but better days ahead. Springbridge Proud. Never got to wire that Colts quarter crack yet. We talked about it this morning before the sessions. He had a big quarter crack and it was open wide and there was some infection still in there. Last thing you want to do is wire a quarter crack shut with anything but 100% cleanliness inside, because that infection then walls itself in there like a zit, except you can pop a zit. Try popping a zit through a wall of a hoof. It's extremely painful. It can lead to some real nasty shit. And the blacksmith looked at it and said, I wouldn't feel comfortable wiring that yet. Put a bar shoe on him today. Horse trained like a monster. That crack still bled a little bit today, but he's out there, you know, straight as a string today, doing his work. That's what I want to see. I want to see horses that workers. And Springbridge Proud is a worker. Very, very high marks for that colt today. Stonebridge Loyal made a little break finishing up. She actually did shy away from something. She was in behind us looking for room. You could see her in the video. You think we were in the North American Cup. Nobody wanted to move over for her. Harry kind of drove her into a blind switch, and she kind of got discombobulated there. And I don't know, is that even a word? I don't know. I make it up. She got out of gear and a little flustered and rolled off stride. No big deal. Looked great up until then. Very happy with the progression in Stonebridge Loyal. Stonebridge Simba, bit of a mainstay. He didn't look good or bad today. Every time anybody goes to him, oh, he's fantastic. Oh, he's fantastic. Where the hell is he? I didn't see him. Sitting fifth the whole way. So, Simba, if you're watching this, start doing some work. There's the vet messaging me again with an official update on Promise Blue Chip. Yep. Okay. Stonebridge Simba, it's blurry again. Why the hell is it so blurry? There we go. Stonebridge Simba, I want to see this horse working. I know he does great. I know he's a beautiful horse and he trots great and he looks great. Show me the money. I want to see this horse working. I don't think I can go with him next week, but you know, I want to see this colt working. So next time he goes, I'll go with him Wednesday for sure. I want to see this colt and see what he's all about. Everybody keeps telling me how great he is. I don't see him blowing by anybody. So Simba, I know you're a nice horse. I know the horse is a good colt, but I want to see some movement. I want to see some aggression. I know he's a beautiful horse and he trots great and everybody loves him and he's happy. And okay, show me the money. So Wednesday I'm going to go with this colt. I really don't think I can go with him because he trots nice in the drone session. But I'm going to sit Brett or James up on him next time and see if we can't get this colt moving and see what everybody's so happy about. So Stonebridge Simba apparently trained awesome today. Finished fifth. So looking for better than fifth next time out. Sunshine's Finest. Where'd he come from? Sunshine's Finest. Jumped up and seized the opportunity in front of him at the wire. Brett said he was on the right line a little bit, a little tender in the turns, But when maintenance man made that little skip over the fecal matter on the track, old Finest was there knocking on the door and reached up and beat both those colts, maintenance man and little king of the ball. So Finest, I told you, I think I predicted this last week. I might have to go back and watch the 58-minute video. I predicted that Sunshine's Finest was going to jump up one of these days. Today was that day. Looked great. There's another perfect example of a stud becoming a gelding. You look at how lazy and miserable this colt was as a stud back in December, and how he attacks and how he's attentive and focused now. So, I mean, I wouldn't be rushing out to geld your children or anything. These are horses, but quite a different story between December and March. Sunshine's Finest amongst top of the class now at thestable.ca. Stud Muffin. Just doing his work out there. Pam's not too concerned about rushing with him. I personally believe he should be gelding Muffin, but Pam's hanging on to him, and she doesn't want him gelded yet. I know you watch these videos, Pam. I know you're out there watching. Please. He's getting steady. He's kicking. He's biting. And he's being a goof. So I know everybody wants to leave Stud Muffin intact, or Pam would like to, but we want to have a good racehorse here. It's not about the money, but it is about having the best colt. I was on the fence. I am not any longer. I would like to geld Stud Muffin, but it is your decision, Pam. You do own him. My recommendation is we find a nice sharp scalpel for Stud Muffin, but we'll see. You know, he's a maturing colt. We'll see what shakes loose. Hopefully it's his testicles. Anyway, Swandre the Giant. Oh, what a Swandre the Giant. This colt looked like a 4-year-old today. I didn't realize the traffic Brett got in the last turn when the horse made a break in front of him. We'll talk about you in a minute, Houdini. Chulo. Colt run in front of him, and he went left, he went right, and then he accelerated in the last part of the turn and accelerated more coming out of the turn. This colt was very impressive today. One of the most impressive colts I saw today was Swandre the Giant. This is an Indiana bred. Indiana, we got 3 very, very nice Indiana breds coming your way this summer. Bay Jewel, Mr. Caper, and Swandre the Giant. Love of God, this is a beautiful colt. Nice gait, trots nice, great attitude, still a stud. He might rip your arm off. He bit my coat today. Close, you're getting closer. But he's all business on the track. This is going to be one big, good-looking horse on the track. Swandre the Giant on the move this week. Top 5 easy this week. Maybe top. I'm not sure yet. Thinking about it. Butler did it. Looked great today. Come the last half in 10 in that set. Looked really, really good. And I thought him out real good before we went that video. So he went a good 3/8, 5/8 of a mile hard before we turned in and went a mile and a half. So the Butler did it well today. See what I did there? The Butler did it well today. Very happy with what I saw from him. Long way to go yet. Still has his ears pinned on his neck, but I think as you see him get through the work and get muscle on and do his job easier, I think you'll see those little ears start to come forward. And the Butler did it. Looked great today. Looked fantastic. Too Far Gone. How tough's this filly? You know what? This filly has her ears up all the time on the track. Works her ass off. So 4 weeks ago, she blows a big quarter crack like Springbridge Proud right front. We clean it up. We wire it. Okay. Pops one left front last week. Okay, fine. We clean it up. It's too close to the training day to wire it. We didn't wire it. We waited. We wired it this week. Friday morning, she pops another quarter crack left front. Another 3 on 2 feet. So I had the blacksmith come in and we put a mushroom shoe on her. So here's the foot. Mushroom shoe is exactly what it sounds like. It's a shoe, half, and then it sits on the frog right there. Sits there, so it takes the pressure off the outside walls of the feet. Trained good today, but my God, how tough is this filly? You know, people say, "Oh, she didn't look that good. She made a break." Blah blah blah. She's a big filly. She's a big, flabby, fat filly. And I'm going to tell you what, we get the muscle on this filly, and you add that attitude with the quarter cracks and her ears up, yeah, how tough is that? I mean, the horse loves her work more than Too Far Gone in the barn. And, you know, you put together that good attitude, turn that flabby fat into muscle by June, get her feet under control, then you tell me how good Too Far Gone's going to look. Keep your eye on Too Far Gone. Tomorrow's headline. Damn it, I didn't get to ask James about him. We changed his shoes behind yesterday. That right hind, he bites that right line a little bit. We put ag bars on him behind. I didn't know how he'd be. He looked good when I saw him coming after. This is a big colt. And as long almost as Dancing on My Own. And he gets a little rolly in the turn. So he might be another one we scoot over to Mohawk Thursday and give him a little break, if you will. Let him train over a bigger track and see how he feels. Looks great, though. Powerful colt. Really, really big, strong colt. If he holds up, he's going to be a nice colt because mentally he's tough colt. Twinsburg made a little break today. A little bit behind everybody. Really green. Can be really ignorant and rotten sometimes. You see her pin her ears. She near bit the horse beside her today. I'm jogging. We're getting ready. Watch the drone video. If Curtis said, I don't know if he has it up early enough. When we start to go, who do I have? Quartz Blue Chip. I roll up beside Twinsburg with Quartz Blue Chip. She pins her ears and opens her mouth and almost bit Quartz Blue Chip in the face. I couldn't believe I was shocked. Horses with that type of attitude usually turn into one of two types of horses. Really iron tough, quick, strong fillies that make noise, or pigs. One or the other. And this filly has a beautiful gait. It's not going to wear a boot or a pole. A little bit behind everybody. She hasn't figured out whether she wants to do it yet. And I'll let you know when I know. But when she decides she wants to do it, I think she's going to be a force. I mean, she's just too quick on her feet and got too nice of a gait not to be. Just a really nice filly on the track. What a miserable little bitch she can be, though. Oh, she cranky. But I'll tell you what, could easily be a very, very nice horse. These are the types that turn into good horses sometimes. The ones that are that competitive. You might go by her, but she's going to take a piece out of your cheek going by. Like, what's that about? Anyway, I was shocked, but happy to see a little dirt in her today. I didn't get to see much of her video. I know she made a break at one point. Brett said she was much improved from the last time he went with her, so that's a positive thing. Timo Houdini. Little fat, little lazy. Put a little spark into him today at the start of the mile, and he can really sprint that colt when he wants to. He's coming. Timo Houdini, I've said it again and again and again. I'm going to continue to say it. I'm going to be heartbroken if this doesn't turn out to be a nice horse, because he is what I would call the total package in one form or another. Can sprint. He's strong. He's durable. He looks like a good horse. So for me, Timo Houdini was awesome today. Made a little break in the turn. You got to be careful going into that turn, especially if you're down along the rail and you got to check them and they get running in a little bit. It's very difficult for them to swing through that turn. And I knew when we started into the turn, I was already down to the rail. I said, geez. And he made a little break after, come right up trotting again and was perfect. So top marks for Timo Houdini. Timo Tulo made a little break. If you look at the video, Harry's coming 100 right where he made a break before in the point of the turn. You really got to watch this colt getting into the turn. He boxes his gait up, gets a little tender, touches himself, thinks it's the end of the world and makes a break. And with me, if you watch the video when I went with him, I had him down along the rail and bottled up in that turn, and then we let him trot hard. Coming out of it. A little tender in the corners. We're going to work on that today. He's got to understand what his limitations are today. And today he overextended himself. Or I guess underextended himself, if you will. But no concerns there. This colt will get it. It's only a matter of time. Well, he's already got it. I mean, he looked fantastic 2 weeks ago. He's already there. So just got to work on him over the next 2 weeks. Warwi Ultra. Shocking. She looked great today. A little unfair. Harry went with her on Wednesday and she made a break, but we shot her after. Usually when you chop the toes off a trotter, they don't trot sometimes. They get a little pacey. They make breaks. So they shot her on Thursday or Friday, and I'm like, this filly's not going to trot Saturday. Not trot. Best mile she ever looked was today. Looked fantastic today on the track. 2 or 3 moved her, strong on the end of it, trotting great. So very, very happy with Warwi Ultra, as everybody should be. She's one of our top prospects, and solidified it again today. West 52nd, that horse, he almost aggravates you enough where you're like, all right, I got to geld him. And then he'll go out, and he made a break today, but look at his recovery. He was 3 football fields behind us when he landed him, and caught up, didn't rest him, caught up, just kept sailing right to the front, and grabbed my fork at the wire. He was going by Bay Jewel today after all that kerfuffle, going by her, and grabbed my fork, and he did go by her, and I made a little break. So, wow. It shouldn't surprise me that this colt looks good, but he does somehow surprise me all the time when I go with him, or when I watch him go, and you see him do something like today. You're like, really? Look at the video. Look where this colt came from, and not even blow a match out when he comes in. Just a big, powerful colt. My only concern is, should I geld him? He's grabby. He's hot sometimes. Should I castrate him? I wrestle with that every week, and I'm still on no, but we'll see. He might show up with a G on his program this summer. I don't know. I can't wait too long, so probably within the next month will be a definitive answer, yes or no. As of right now, it's no, just because I think far too much of this colt to geld him, and I don't think it's a necessity. It's close to being a necessity, but it's not. You look at a horse like I'm about to talk about, White Tiger. How good was he today? We were howling on the end of the mile. James ducked him to the left of me, and he blew by Bay Jewel and West 52nd. This colt's a serious, serious animal, and he's muscle massive. So pretty hard not to like them. We had Lawmaker last year, and this guy this year. And man, oh man, that was some kind of move. Last week with that gigantic move down the backstretch to clear us 8th to 1st in the training set, and then today to move to the front, sit in the 2-hole, and come blowing by us on the inside. This colt's got it all figured out now. He's got his gait, he's got his attitude, he's got his focus, and he can fly. So I'm ecstatic because finally I do own a piece of this one. We do have a piece of White Tiger, and just tickled pink. Just a beautiful, beautiful horse to watch. James said to me, he goes, only slight of this colt, he'll touch his elbows sometimes when he's trotting. You put the hobbles on him, keeps him down. I think it keeps him down just that little bit to miss. So James had said, I don't think he needs the hobbles. And I said, well, I have them on him for a number of reasons. One is he touches his elbows. And he just looked at me and he goes, whatever. He was perfect with or without them. Yes, got interfered with today. Don't think he made a break. Todd was happy with him, and I saw him train on Wednesday and Saturday. I thought the horse looked fantastic for the past 10 days. So, Yes is doing exactly what we needed him to do, and he's really come forward and turned into the horse far before all the other Man of Many Missions last year. Look at Zeppelin B, drove me nuts right till his first race in July. So, Yes, to be this good in March is feather in his cap. We added a stake for Yes. We put him in the Ohio Breeders' Championship. We paid them all into the Ohio State Fair also. And this colt, very happy. He's not top 5. He's not like, oh wow, look at Yes, but he's doing his work. These Man of Many Missions, remember, they're meat and potatoes horses, and they always impress. Zeppelin B was an okay colt last year that made almost 50,000 in Ohio with a mark of 58 on a half-mile track. And for this horse to be looking this good in March, very, very happy with him. Now, I believe that is it. I believe I got them all. I missed a couple last week. I'm going to keep my little list right here. Tomorrow we're racing Now or Power, who may be claimed. I believe by the time you'll see this video, we'll know. Or we'll know Sunday night if you get it out tomorrow. He might be claimed. And if he is, we're trying to transition into moving out the horses that are unproductive right now. We sold some this week. PDA Blue Chip, gone. SS Hakuna Matata, bye-bye. Who else? A couple more on the chopping blocks. Chicago DB was claimed, unfortunately. I think Now or Power might be claimed tomorrow. We're racing Meadowbrook Charlie in the Claimer Monday night. I don't know if they're going to claim him or not. I mean, I think that's where he belongs right now. In real time, we have to make decisions, and Kevin had called me and said, what do you think? And we put him in. I think the guys that own him are going to turn a little profit if he gets claimed, which is important. I think he's a better horse than that, but nowhere to race him right now, so that's, I guess we could race him somewhere, but I think it's a good fit for him, that class, and I think we can replace him for that, so that's where he is. Same with Rose Run Speedster, racing good. Will he be claimed? I don't know. And if he is, he is. Again, I think if you go on the track at 9-1 in a claimer, you should be able to replace the horse with at least somebody in that class. So I'm not that concerned with them. They're going to be Indigo, Road Tripper, Wind Chaser, schooled him in 2-1 at Flamborough this week. Looked great. Very, very happy with Wind Chaser. Zeppelin B made a little break at the gate. We changed some equipment on him. Easy enough to change back. Who else? Dancing at Midland. Trained fantastic at the farm today. Kevin's been in 2-2, I think, with him at the farm. He's ready to go right now. Boston Glide's making his second start next week. Look good. Who else do we got? We got Lawmaker Cruising in Style and Canale Hanover all trained well this week. Lawmaker and Canale trained Friday. Cruising trained today because Mark Treffy, his beautiful wife Michelle, were in from Saratoga. Mark was a little pissy, I think, because Book the Bad horse he owns and likes got a little trapped in. He wasn't really trapped in behind Promise Blue Chip. I took him right to that lane, and the big steamroller there almost got up, Book the Bet, but didn't quite get up. Raced good. You know, she keeps getting checks. That's all we ask for, big girl. Just keep banging away. Did well tonight. So I'm glad that Mark had a semi good time. He said he was very, very happy with Cruising in Style. I didn't go with him. I didn't get to watch him go, but they say he looked fantastic. So big boys are coming back great, looking good. Weeding out the deadwood, so to speak, this week and next week. I'm going to whittle the stable down to where it needs to be, start focusing on the babies. Over the next month, we'll be transitioning. I don't think you're going to see March, April. Over the next drone or the drone after, the best horses, the ones we think are Grand Circuit horses, are going to be geared back and only jogging for a month. I don't want to tire them out, and I need them to be fresh at the end of the year this year when we need them to. So we're going to be scaling them back. The ones that jump up and start leaking into that class later on are going to have to work that much harder. So horses like Arvika, Maintenance Man, horses like King of the Ball, even horses that we hold in very high regard right now. And there's lots that I even, West 52nd and Oso Pine and on and on and on. Horses like that we believe are geared towards bigger and better things. We are going to be gearing them down for 2 or 3 weeks. See if we can drag out their season and not take away from the front end when we need it on the back end, so to speak. So we're going to do a little transitioning over the next month. Very happy with what I've seen. Obviously, there's some horses that are quite a ways behind, but here's the thing. Sure, there's going to be a lot of people out there that are saying, hey, you know, I just want to focus on horses that are going to be ready June 15th and racing in the summer. That doesn't mean they're going to get all the money. You know, start looking at, taking away from horses like, again, Cash In On Me, Boldness, Stolen Dance, even Dancing on My Own, horses that we're not interested if they don't have to be ready for June 15th. They're going to be ready later on. And I can't make them be ready for June if it's obvious they're not going to be. You guys aren't stupid. You see the videos out there, and I'm not going to lead you down the wrong path. Boldness will be ready in September, August. Stolen Dance, I hope she's ready. August, September. And these are the things that we're looking at. So you're getting to see them train against horses that are going to be ready June 15th. So it's a little unfair. And I wouldn't be too concerned. There's lots of time, lots of stakes, and lots of money to be made with the horses if we do it right. We never guarantee wins or, winner circle pictures or stakes or stake blankets or trophies, but we do guarantee the horses that we bring to the track will be the best form of that horse on any given night because we put the proper training into them and we treat them the proper way. And if they're not going to be ready for the first of the summer, we'll have them ready for the end of the summer. If they're not ready for the end of the summer, then they'll be ready in 2019. But we're building something great here, and we're building it with you. And I really appreciate your understanding, your patience, And for those of you that said, geez, I love your hour-long videos, I'm doing the math quick in my head. This one's a little over an hour. So if you can tolerate me talking for an hour, hey, thanks. That's great. But I love to bring the information this way. Also gives me an opportunity to talk to you about the stable and what's going on, the racehorses, the ones training back, the ones qualifying, the ones we sold, why we sold them, and the ones that are on their way. So for all of you out there, thank you for tuning in. If you have any questions, you all have my phone number. Text me, email me, pick up the phone and call me. I'm always around. So thanks for tuning into the drone sessions. Thanks for watching the videos, and we'll see you again. Well, 2 weeks, but there'll be another video for you next week. Take care. Bye.